Welcome students. In this video session, we are going to learn about predictive parsing and parsing table. In our previous video, we discussed about first operation and also follow operation. In continuation with that, we will be learning about the construction of parsing table. Only by using the parsing table, the predictive parser is going to validate the given input expression or the given input string. So in the parsing table, we'll be having uh, for every non-terminal we will be having an row associated with it, and for every terminal we'll be having a column associated with it. So for example, a parsing table will be something like this. So for whatever non-terminals we have, so we have an row associated with it, and for all the terminals we will be having a column associated with it. Now we will be trying to place the production in appropriate position if the two condition, based on these two conditions only we'll be trying to place the production. So the two conditions are, if you have a production like A tends to alpha, then the production A tends to alpha will be placed in the parsing table in the particular row and the particular column if the first of A contains the particular column. I already told you every column is for a particular terminal. So we will be placing the production in particular row and particular column if the production, the production for the same non-terminal, that production, the first of that production, has the terminal. So if it has the terminal, then we will be placing that production in that particular row and that particular column. Suppose if the first of that particular production, the first of alpha contains epsilon in it, then we will be placing that production in also those columns, okay, which were available for follow of A. So for follow of A also we will be placing those production. So if you're not clear with these 2 points, don't worry. Once if you go with an example, it will be very clear for you. Now let us take the same example, same grammar which we have used for computing the first and follow. So this is the same grammar, and for this grammar already we have computed the first and follow. If you have any doubts, you can refer the previous video. Now with this, we are going to construct the parsing table. So this is a parsing table. Now we will be trying to place the production, every individual production, in appropriate position in the parsing table based on these two rules. So let us try with the first production. E tends to TE dash. So where we can place this production? So this production can be placed in those columns which we will be getting in follow of T. So what is follow of, sorry, not follow of T, first of T. Okay, that is what the first rule says, right? So first of T. So what is first of T? First of T is nothing but open bracket and ID. So in this field and in this field, we have to add the production E tends to TE dash, right? So we have to add the production E tends to T dash in the column ID and also in the column open bracket. Now let us try with the second production. E dash tends to plus TE dash or epsilon. So where we have to add this production? So this production should be added in first of plus. What is first of plus? Plus. Right? We already learned, right? First of a terminal will be the same terminal. So first of plus will be plus. So in this field, in this particular field, we have to add the production E dash tends to plus TE dash. In addition to that, you also have one more rule, that is E dash tends to epsilon. So once you have a production like this, then you have to compute first of E dash. First of E dash is nothing but, sorry, first of epsilon. First of epsilon is epsilon. So once if the first of the alpha contains an epsilon in it, then what you have to do? You have to add this production E dash tend to epsilon in follow of E dash. What is follow of E dash? It is follow of E. Follow of E is nothing but closed bracket and dollar. So in closed bracket and dollar, you have to add the production E dash tends to epsilon. In closed bracket and dollar, we have to add E dash tends to epsilon. Okay, it is epsilon. Okay, fine. So let us proceed further. It is the next production T dash, sorry, T tends to F T dash. So you have to place the production in first of F. So what is first of F? First of S open bracket and ID. So in open bracket and ID, so in open bracket and ID, you have to add the production T tends to FT dash. Is it okay? Right. So next comes T dash tends to star FT dash or epsilon. So here what you have to do? You have to add the production T dash tends to star FT dash in first of star. What is first of star? Star. So in this field, you have to add the rule T dash tends to star FT dash in this field. Okay. Then what you have to do? Again, the production T dash tend to epsilon should be added in first of epsilon. Okay. So first of epsilon is epsilon. So if first of alpha contains epsilon in it, then what we have to do? We have to add the production T dash tends to epsilon in follow of T dash. What is follow of T dash? Plus close to bracket and dollar. So E tends to, sorry, T dash tends to epsilon should be added in plus column, close to bracket column, and also dollar column, right? Just see here. So T dash tends to star FT dash has been added in star column, and the production T dash tends to epsilon is being added in plus column, close to bracket column, and also dollar column. Still we have one more production, that is F tends to open bracket E close to bracket or ID. Now where we have to add this production? So F tends to open bracket E close to bracket. So this production should be added in first of open bracket. What is first of open bracket? Open bracket. So F tends to open bracket E closed bracket should be added here. In this field it should be added. Then what is first F tends to ID? You have to add the production F tends to ID in first of ID. What is first of ID? ID. So F tends to ID should be added here. Okay. So this is how you have to construct the parsing table. Now with the help of this parsing table, the predictive parser can validate whether the input string is with proper syntax or not. Now the predictive parser will be using this parsing table along with stack to validate the given input string. Now let us see how the predictive parser is validating the given input string. At the beginning itself, we discussed one fact that predictive parser is a type of top-down parsing. So we will be starting from the starting non-terminal symbol and we'll be ending up with the terminals. If you want to relate with parsing table, if you want to relate with the graph or the tree, parsing tree, we'll be starting with a root node and we'll be ending with a leaf node. Is it okay? Fine. So let us proceed further. So the predictive parser will be validating the given input string by using the parsing table. In addition to that, it will be also using stack also, right? So initially, the stack will be having a dollar in it. So if a stack has dollar in it, it means that it is a end. The stack is empty, and the input string it will be ending with dollar, so indicating that that is the end of the input string. Now, initially, the stack will be having the starting symbol of the grammar. We are dealing with the same grammar, right? So this is our grammar. So in this grammar, E is a starting symbol. So that symbol we have it in the stack initially. Then input string, whatever input string we have taken, that is there. So with the help of the parsing table, the predictive parser will be validating the given input expression. So it will be validating by using stack. In addition to parse table, we will be also using stack. So initially, the stack will have the starting symbol in it, starting symbol of the grammar in it, and in the input string whatever we want, whatever the parser want to validate, that input string will be it. As you have noticed, the stack will have a dollar in it. Okay, so it means that if a stack has dollar alone, it means it is empty. The stack is empty. So above dollar, you have the symbol E. This is what initially the stack will have. And in input string, you will be having the input string, and at the end of the input string, we will be having a dollar in it. Okay, so it just indicates that it is the end. That is the end of the input string. Now, what the predictive parser will be doing is the predictive parser will be checking the stack's topmost symbol with the current pointer pointing symbol. So initially, the current pointer will be pointing to the first symbol, that is ID. So predictive parser during each stage it will be just comparing that stack's topmost symbol with the current pointer pointing symbol. So in the predictive parsing table, you will be having an appropriate rule for this. For the non-terminal E and for the terminal ID, you will be having some rules. You will be having some production rules. So that production rule will be applied to it. Suppose for this non-terminal and for this terminal, you don't have any rule. It means that the input string is of not proper syntax. Okay, so at any stage there should be some matching rule for a particular non-terminal, and for a terminal there should be some matching rule in this parsing table. If you don't have a rule, it means that the input string is not with proper syntax. So when you follow this step, you should end up with the empty stack and the empty input string. Okay, one point I missed to share, that is when you just apply the rule, sometimes in the stack's topmost symbol you will be having a terminal. Once if you have a terminal as a stack's topmost symbol, that terminal should be the same terminal what is being pointed by the current pointer pointing. Okay, suppose if the terminals are not matching, even there also it means that the input string is not with proper syntax. And also, once if you do this process, at the end the stack should be empty and also the input string should be empty. The input string, why it becomes empty is once if a match is being found. Just now I told you that if the stack's topmost symbol have a terminal in it, that terminal should match with the current pointer pointing terminal. If matches, the stack's topmost symbol and the current pointer pointing symbol are same, then we will be moving the current pointer to the next position. So it means that the current pointer pointing symbol is being removed from the input string. Only if you remove it, the pointer will be moving to the next position. So far what I discussed is, I just discussed in which are all the situations we will be coming to a conclusion that the input string is not with proper syntax. one situation is that for a particular non-terminal and for a particular terminal, if you don't have a rule in your parsing table, it means that the input string is not valid. Second situation is that in the tag's topmost symbol we have a terminal. The current pointer pointing symbol will be also a terminal. Suppose if these two terminals are not matching, if they are not same, there also it means that the input string is not with proper syntax. The third situation is that at the end of the process, the stack should be empty and also the input string should be empty. If they are not empty, then also it means that the input string is not with proper syntax. Okay, so let us proceed further. In our case, now we have E as a stack's topmost symbol and the current pointer pointing symbol is ID. So now what we have to do, we have to just look the parsing table for the non-terminal E, and for ID you have the production that E tends to TE dash. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are just going to replace E with the production TE dash. Okay, so the non-terminal E should be removed from the stack, should be popped from the stack, and the appropriate production should be pushed in the stack. When pushing in the stack, ensure that it is being pushed in reverse order. So first E dash gets pushed in your stack and T gets pushed. The reason is very simple, because when we are processing the string, the leftmost string should be processed first. The leftmost symbol should be processed first. That's why. So when we have T dash, E dash is pushed first, then T pushed next. Right? Now again the process should be continued. Now stack's topmost symbol, we have what we have? We have a non-terminal E and the current pointer is still pointing to ID, right? Now for TID, for T, stack's topmost symbol T, the non-terminal T, and for terminal ID, what we have to do, just look into the parsing table. T tends to ID. So what we have to do, we have to apply the production T tends to FT dash. So FT tends to FT dash. So this rule you have to apply it. So what does it mean? It means that T should be popped from the stack and the production T tends to FT dash should be pushed. So I think now you can get the point. It is being pushed in reverse order. Okay, so first T dash is being pushed, then F is being pushed. Again what you have to do? Again the same process. The non-terminal F and the current pointer pointing symbol is being compared. Okay, so F and ID. So you have to look for the parsing table. F and ID. So F and ID. So F row, ID column. What you have? F tends to ID. Now what you have to do? You have to remove the or pop the F and you have to push ID, because that's the protection we have. F tends to ID. So F should be removed and ID should be pushed. Now what happens? In stack topmost you have an terminal. The current pointer is a terminal. Now you just compare it. Since it matches, what you have to do? You have to remove it. You have to remove it. Now the current pointer will be pointing to the next character, next symbol, that is plus. Is it okay? Fine. Now again T dash and plus. So what you have for T dash and plus? You have T dash tends to epsilon. So apply the rule T dash tends to epsilon. So what happens? So T dash should be popped and epsilon should be pushed. But when you push epsilon, it is not going to create any change. So you can just ignore it. Okay, you can just ignore it. Now what we have? The stack's topmost symbol, you have E dash and the current pointer pointing symbol is plus. So E dash and plus, just see the parsing table. What you have? You have E dash tends to plus T dash. Okay, so pop E dash and then push this information or push this rule. Okay, so how will you push it? You should push it in reverse order. So E dash, T and plus. Now what you have? The stack's topmost symbol you have plus and the current pointer pointing symbol is also plus. So since they are matched, what you can do, you can just remove it. In stack also it is been removed, and then from input string is also it is been removed. Now the current pointer pointing symbol is id, and in the stack what you have, in the stack topmost you have t. So t and id, just look for the passing table t for id. What you have, you have t tends to ft dash. So apply the rule, just remove t and then push f dash, sorry, t dash f. Hope you can get it. So this is a symbol. For this symbol only we have applied this rule. So we are just removing t and then we are just pushing this rule. Okay, once again I'm telling, when you are pushing it in the stack, you should push it in reverse order. So t dash first, then f. Then again same process, compare f with id. So since it's a non-terminal and terminal, just look for the passing table. So for f and id you have id, right? So f and id you have f tends to id. So apply the rule. So once if you apply the rule, what happens? F tends to id. So if you apply the rule, the f you will be removing it and then you will be pushing id. Now next what happens? You will be comparing stack topmost symbol with the current pointer pointing symbol. Since they got matched, you will be removing it, right? As a result, you will be getting, in a stack you will be having e dash t dash, and the input string you will be getting star id dollar. Now next what you have to do, you have to check the stack topmost symbol t dash with star. Okay, since a non-terminal in stack and terminal in the input string, you have to look for the passing table. So what do you have for t dash and star? So for t dash and star you have t dash tends to star ft dash. Okay, so remove t dash from the stack and then push star ft dash in reverse order, that is t dash f star. Now what you have in the stack's topmost symbol, you have star, and the input string also the current pointer will be pointing to star. So since star and star are matching, you can remove the star from the stack and also from input string. As a result, you will be getting f as a stack's topmost symbol, and in input string the current pointer will be pointing to id. So f and id. So what you have, f and id, for f and id you have f tends to id. Okay, so what you have to do now, this f stack's topmost symbol f should be popped and its corresponding production id should be pushed. So you'll be getting like this. You'll be getting like this. Okay, fine. Now next what you have to do, you have to compare the stack's topmost symbol with the current pointer pointing symbol. So they both are id. So since they are matching, you can remove it. Okay. So as a result, you will be getting e dash t dash in stack. In input string you will not be having anything, it will be empty. So what you will be doing next, in input string you don't have anything, right? So you have to look for t dash and epsilon, sorry, e dash. You have to look for t dash and dollar symbol. So for t dash and dollar symbol, what you have, e dash and dollar symbol you have e dash tends to epsilon. So I just apply the rule. Okay, then again e dash and dollar. So for again for e dash and dollar, again you have epsilon, right? So apply the rule. So once if you apply these rules, the stack will become empty. The input string already has become empty. Now the stack also become empty, right? So since you are resulting with empty stack and empty input string, it means that the given input string is satisfying the format, is with proper syntax, or it is matching the grammar, right? So internally the process whatever we did using stack, internally it means that we have constructed a parse table like this. We started with the terminal non-terminal e, then we have gone for this production. The e is been replaced by te dash, then t is been replaced by ft dash, then f10 is been replaced by id, t dash replaced by epsilon, then E dash is been replaced by plus T E dash. Okay, then again T is been replaced by F T dash, then F is been replaced by ID, T dash is been replaced by star F T dash, F is been replaced by ID, T dash is been replaced by epsilon, E dash is also replaced by epsilon. So internally we have constructed the parse tree. By using the stack, we have constructed the parse tree. Thank you, students.